that Munch was a really challenging time for us because we had a lot of things were happening. You know, some of them were at the business level, and then some were at the technology level. And at the technology level, we really kind of got ourselves into trouble, and my ideas were quite a bit ahead of what our technical capacity was, and that's a real dangerous place to be. You know, you can drive yourself right into the ground that way. And actually, a lot of games fail for that reason, meaning that they're too ambitious for what they should have been. And so my ideas for Munch were so big, and I was so enthusiastic about what I wanted, that in the end I only got a fraction of that, you know, into the game. And that's largely, I have no one else to blame, you know, but myself for not being as realistic as I should have been. And as a result, the whole story got completely changed because it became a process of what can we save, what can we salvage, rather than what do we want it to be. And that really broke my heart. You know, I mean, I get really kind of emotionally wrapped up in these projects. And
well, I remember you were one of Microsoft's biggest proponents when the Xbox came out, saying there's no way this is going to be able to be done on the PS2, etc. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I remember reading all the hype, and I'd say the only one thing that disappointed me was the actual game. While a lot of fun, and I did enjoy it, I was expecting so much more. I think it's now kind of Peter Molyneux syndrome, like he did with Fable, where us as the fans were.
Yeah. So you get into, you know, you can get into trouble that way. I mean, something can be overhyped. I think Munch, it's still rated an 8.0, I think, or something, and a lot of people really love the game. But it did get overhyped. It was at the center of controversy because we left the PlayStation and we went on to the Xbox and we helped promote the Xbox. And Microsoft was not a popular brand, you know, so a lot of people didn't like Microsoft. Now, what we cared about was we wanted better tools for the development process, and we wanted smarter systems. And, you know, I never liked the PS2 as a tool, and because I think it's inherently has some major philosophical flaws. And some major sort of ignorances in terms of what the community needs versus what that configuration is doing. But you know there's different reasons for that, and none of them of which I feel are really justified. But they come in this, you know, they manifest. And in the end of the day, if we're building tools that make the process more expensive, then we're reducing creativity, and we're putting more money into just doing the same old thing just to get back up and running again, rather than where we should be, in my opinion, is on a much more innovative front. I mean, if the tools that people built for the PS2 were carried over and they were allowed to hit the ground running for the PS3, the way that people's tools for the GameCube are hitting the ground running for the Wii, then we would see huge benefits, way better games. I mean, the innovation factor could increase dramatically because people wouldn't be reinvesting $5 to $10 million in tool sets just to get back where they were and pulling out their hair along the way. You know, and they are all pulling their hair out along the way. Whereas I thought that Microsoft was more of the hope because they understood standards, because they basically monopolized, you know, DOS and Windows. But because they understood standards, I thought they would understand the value of retaining a tool set through and having it be more of an evolutionary process. And to some degree that occurred, and to some degree it didn't. I mean, the minds that designed the Xbox are not the minds that designed the 360. You know, so you have just the human factor of people want to do things differently. But really, it will come when games are in a place for development where computer graphics has been throughout its history, which is computer graphics, the tools don't revolutionize, they evolve. Whereas in games, the tools have a complete revolution every 5 years, and we don't get to evolve what we have. You know, if you look at Pixar, they're still using code that they were using in the very beginning 20 years ago, and when they were still at Lucas. You know, I mean, if you look at PDI, it's the same thing. ILM, it's the same thing. You know, companies all over the world. Maya was built off of Alias and Wavefront, that was built off of Robert Abel's software from back in the Hollywood early days. So all of that evolved. It didn't get thrown out and then change. And because of that, we have computer graphics where it is today, which is pretty phenomenal. And games, while games are making a lot of money and there's a lot of games out there, we don't really see the innovation that excites a lot of people. So it's making the gamers happy, but it's not really bringing more people to games. And that's sad because the possibility of games is much greater than the actual manifestation of where we are right now.